Hey guys, it's Anti-Everything, and today I'm going to be exposing the dark side of Dr. Phil. Phil McGraw, also known as Dr. Phil, is the highest paid daytime personality and is in the midst of 162 consecutive weeks of being the highest rated syndicated talk show. So by now, you may be wondering, how the hell did he do it? Is it the show's ability to adapt to viewing trends by posting a constant stream of clickbait to their YouTube channel? Are viewers drawn to McGraw's impeccably shiny head like moths to a flame?
Boy, if you don't get...
But what really sets Dr. Phil apart is his uncanny ability to find the most mentally unstable people in the world and exploit them for views.
See right there? That's crazy. I think he does. He does find the most vulnerable people and he exploits them.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, coming from someone that is going through some stuff myself, I do believe that he does find people that are mentally not there or is going through a lot of stuff and they don't know how to articulate how they feel. What do you think?
I think that he it's very easy to find people who clearly have not been medicated to bring onto the show to basically embarrass themselves and humiliate them for millions of people to see in the name of helping someone. And I think this video will basically show all the things that I agree with and I already know from watching Dr. Phil myself, and how and try to maybe explain as to why he's been able to get away with this for so long. Because
money.
I guess so, yeah.
And it's good views. Well, not good views, but it's just you can tell when they're using someone. I've seen a lot of I didn't see a lot. I know the Catch Me Outside girl became famous off of him.
And the girl who was racist against black people and she was black.
We mean a white girl with the big boobs?
No, the black girl who was black and she was calling other black people monkeys and stuff.
I've never seen this one.
You never saw that one?
Mm-mm.
And then her sister...
I seen the one where there was a white woman who wanted to be black and she altered her skin like a reverse Michael Jackson type situation. And
but
she had
no,
boobs.
There was a black girl who was basically calling black people the N-word and illicit. She was on the internet they was calling her the young female Uncle Ruckus.
Oh, I gotta find this.
And her sister exposed that it was all fake and everything to be as big as Catch Me Outside Girl. It's a whole different thing. I feel that's a whole different ball of a game. But Dr. Phil, I don't think it's gonna show it in this video, but Dr. Phil, he claimed that because that black girl has said that she was white, that she felt white, so that she was white, trans people, that he believes that transracial is a thing.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, and I was you gotta be kidding me. I stopped watching Dr. Phil. I stopped watching Dr. Phil because of a lot of different things, but that was the final nail in the coffin when he was talking to an actual doctor, because we'll learn Dr. Phil ain't no psychiatrist or psychologist or whatever like that. He's not even a therapist, period.
Is he just a TV personality? Or is
yes, just like Judge Judy. Just like Judge Judy.
I actually think she's an actual
she
judge.
is a judge, but her personality is for TV.
She is mean as hell. There's sometimes I be looking at Judge Judy it's unnecessary the way she be coming at people, but I'm just I
think her personality is hilarious. Me and my grandma loved her. It's so funny. It's so funny. But Dr. Phil, he ain't no doctor. He just got the title doctor. But he believes that people can become a different race, just like a man can become a woman. Are you kidding me right now?
I don't know. Let's see, but let's watch a little bit more.
You want a piece of me, bitch? Come on, bitch. Prepare for pain.
Hello, I'm Shelley Duvall.
Shelley Duvall, best known for her starring role as Wendy in The Shining, appeared on The Dr. Phil Show in 2016 on an episode called From Hollywood Star to Near Isolation. A controversial promo video was released several weeks before the episode aired.
From red carpet to near recluse.
I loved Robin Williams. I don't think he's dead.
Where do you think he is?
Shape-shifting.
Do you see him?
Yes.
Will you let me get you to the doctor so you can get checked out?
If you so much as attempt to get my moon mole, I'll kill you.
Broadcasting a single out-of-context statement in a 30-second clip is cruel in so many ways. This is a woman who worked with Robin for years, was extremely close to him, and is clearly still grieving his loss. Considering the fact that McGraw has a PhD in clinical psychology, he of all people should know that everyone processes grief differently. McGraw could have used this as a teaching moment for his audience, but instead he used it for views, all at the expense of a mentally ill woman. Actress Mia Farrow and producer Vivian Kubrick banded together in their support for Duvall and publicly boycotted the show on social media.
And I fully agree with those actresses, because what Dr. Phil did to Shelley Duvall was inhumane. Inhumane. Especially if you know what went down during like the filming of The Shining with Shelley Duvall. She was literally like outcasted and ostracized and abused, verbally and emotionally and psychologically abused by all those people, just to make her reactions to like the horror movie more genuine, which is so, like, it's so disgusting.
Really?
Like, that's not ethical at all, like, to mentally torture someone just so that their reaction during like a terrifying scene could be more genuine. Like,
isn't it called like method acting? I think Heath Ledger was doing that for the Joker.
no, the difference between Jared Leto?
No, sorry. No, the Heath Ledger when he did it for Dark Knight.
Oh, okay.
It's called method acting, I believe.
Sorry, I'm thinking about the
with
new
themselves and like
Joker.
the actual what's the word I'm looking for? Plays of the character they're playing to like actually get the best performance.
Well, the difference is between Shelley Duvall and Heath, I believe his name is Heath Ledger.
Heath Ledger, yeah.
Is that Heath consented into doing method acting.
She didn't.
She did not at all. She did not
Did she
sign
ever
up.
express that?
Well, like, how could she? I don't know when exactly The Shining was created, but they did not treat her right at all. Like, I don't think she had like a lot of rights. She was the main actress of the whole movie because it was a horror movie, but it was just that clearly the director and the other people who were there, the more experienced actors and actresses, were more like more empowered than her, and they were actually like just following the director's orders, and the director wanted her to be mentally broken in the outside, like outside of acting, so that during acting, when she's mentally broken because of the killer, it will be more genuine. Like that scene where like he's be like, here's Johnny, and he's like breaking down like the freaking door with the axe. Her reaction is real. It's real. Like, she's actually terrified, and that's so sad because she dealt with this and then she ran away. She like stopped like acting entirely, and now she lives in, I believe, Texas. And like people know her as like Shelley Duvall, but like she's just like a shell of herself, and it's just like Dr. Phil sees that because he's in the industry. And he brings her onto the show to edit off certain conversations through their one-on-one interview to make it seem like she's saying the most craziest shit. Like, no.
But
like,
I think that's just TV in general. They try to catch you, say the craziest stuff, and then they put it up there for like views of like promotion.
But that's like really bad because people was already saying that she was crazy for running away in the first place and not wanting to be in Hollywood anymore. And then him editing it to further push
what they
the
said
point.
that about too? They said the same thing about Dave Chappelle when he quit on the Dave Chappelle show. Remember, they said that he was crazy for giving up all that money, but he had his valid reason when he did that interview with Oprah Winfrey, and he explained his reason, like he didn't feel comfortable in Hollywood no more, and he just went to Africa for a couple of years. Look at your face. You look so confused.
I didn't know that.
You didn't know all
about
that with Dave Chappelle?
I
He
don't
talked
listen.
about it on Oprah.
Follow really David Chappelle like that, you know. This is, that's whatever.
Whatever.
Let's not indulge the greedy, predatory instincts of Dr. Phil, boycott the TV show, and leave wonderful Shelley Duvall with her dignity. Dear Dr. Phil, you are putting Shelley Duvall on show while she is suffering from a pitiable state of ill health. Unquestionably, this is purely a form of lurid and exploitive entertainment. It's appallingly cruel. Shelley Duvall was a movie star. Whatever dignity a mere unfortunate creature might have in this world is denied by your displaying her this way. I recoil in complete disgust. I hope others will join me in boycotting your utterly heartless form of entertainment. Dr. Phil sent Duvall to a treatment facility in Miami, Florida, where she stayed for 3 days before deciding to leave and return to her home in Texas. I can't help but think that if McGraw truly wanted to help her, he would have chosen a facility closer to her home to ease the difficult transition of entering back into society.
Yep. That's how you do it. I think maybe if someone is going through a lot, maybe putting them in a brand new environment like that is going to be a bit too much and triggering.
Especially since she's not been in front of like TV and cameras in a long time. And then like, it's just bad. It's just bad. I don't like it. I hate it.
How would you feel like you're going through stuff and they just send you off to California just to like get mental health, but like it's not even a great place and it's a completely new environment you're not even used to? Like, you sign yourself out after a day or two. Like, obviously it didn't work. Like,
I would be scared mostly. Like, I would just be like really uneasy. I would be anxious because it's just like I'm being put in front of a camera in front of this man I don't know well for millions of people to see. I know when I get home because Dr. Phil is such a branded name that I know my face will be everywhere, all over TV, all over the world. Who will be willing to see it? Like, and that's just scary to me that like people will be dissecting my own mental illnesses like for themselves because they're bored.
No, I think the worst thing is misdiagnosis. It's someone like, you don't have this, but someone's keep telling you, you have this. Like, I don't have this. like, wait, what are you talking about? Like, there's people that I've met that have been misdiagnosed because of maybe misunderstandings of conversations or them interpreting something that can be interpreted the wrong way or so. So like, it really takes a professional. If you're not a professional, you don't know what you're talking about. Like, come on.
And Dr. Phil is no professional. Maybe he does have a degree, but is he licensed? No.
What if he just had a certificate?
He just has a degree. That's it. He's not licensed. He didn't actually go to like medical school and go through all like of the training.
Didn't he admit to that in like the Scary Movie in the beginning?
Yeah, and people think that it's just a joke because it's a parody of Saw, but it's like, it's the real thing. Like, he's just a TV personality of a therapist. He's actually a pretty easy therapist to get, except for like an actual therapist who like wants to help you. Like, he's more like reachable than one you can get through your insurance. Because at least he'll put you on TV, make a fool out of you, criticize you or uplift your own illness to make you even more delusional, and then send your ass back into the real world where people now know you and see how crazy you are. Like, it's embarrassing. And the people who are severely mentally ill who go on his show don't realize how embarrassing it is. Their family has to deal with it.
I see like Maury, you're not the father.
Like, that's embarrassing as well.
Yeah, like, I wouldn't, like, if I had a situation like Maury, like, having getting someone pregnant and, like, not knowing I'm the father, I'm not going on TV and, like, trying to have that out there like that. That's crazy.
You know what's crazy is that, like, for some reason when I was a child, because I used to always watch Maury. Like, when I was a kid, early 2000s, it would be Maury, Jerry Springer, and Judge Judy every morning. But, like, I used to want to go on the morning show. I don't know why. I don't know why, but I always thought it was so fun. But then as I grew up, I was just like, damn, this is embarrassing. Like, imagine, like, you're, like, trying to, like, prove to a man that your child is his child for millions of people to see. And then they say, no, he's not the father. So then everyone knows everyone shows that, like, you've been unfaithful. Like, you've been, like, opening your legs for the neighborhood. Like, that's messed up. The funniest part about it
is every woman has the same reaction. They get up and they run away.
That's like a staple.
The cameraman has to be like an Olympian at this point.
And you know what's crazy? A little tangent over here, but like, I knew Jerry Springer was fake when I used to go to Park Slope Day Camp and my counselor was actually on Jerry Springer, but he had a different name.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So he was like
he was an
on the show?
actor. He was an actor. He was an actor. Like, I wish I could. Hopefully, I'll try to find the video of him because I took a video of him because I came home from school from camp and I turned on Jerry Springer and my counselor was there and. It was crazy because before I had gotten home, he actually told me and my other campers that he tried to like star in High School Musical when it came out as Zach from High School Musical. He obviously didn't get the audition, but he still does some acting. And then when I get home and I see him on Jerry Springer, I was like, oh shit.
Well, he made it in his own way, I guess.
What?
Jerry Springer.
Like, and it was a wild episode. Apparently he was helping like in an affair with another girl who was his homie's girl. It was insane. I just
feel like they come up with the craziest stories in their show. It's usually a midget or usually involved
or a stripper.
It's funny as hell.
And then like somehow all the girls just fight in a tub with oil.
Yeah, the fight. I like Jerry Springer to a certain. It's kind of like hockey, kind of like they let you fight with their security.
And titty beats.
Titty beats.
You remember they used to do it in Jerry Springer where a lady or maybe a man would did big titties with the like show their chest on camera and then they would throw you titty beats.
I gotta watch Jerry Springer now. I did not know.
This is me with like, you know, a lot of like unsupervised TV time and like internet time basically as a child. Anyway, let's get to it.
Todd Herzog.
Dr. Phil.
Hi, I'm Todd.
Survivor winner Todd Herzog appeared on the Dr. Phil show in 2013 to discuss his ongoing struggle with alcoholism. He was so inebriated during filming that he had to be helped onto the stage by Dr. Phil and several other staff members.
Nice to meet you.
How you feeling, man? Can you walk?
Barely. I have to have help.
All right.
Sorry, I'm very...
That's all right. Brandon, why don't you get over there and take Debbie's spot?
Right. Yeah, I'll go. I'm sorry, I'm crying because I just can't believe this is happening. So,
Turn around. Just come turn around. Okay.
2, 3.
Here we go.
What do you guys have? 9-foot chairs.
Fast forward 5 years later, Herzog finally reveals his side of the story. He claims he was sober when he arrived on set in Los Angeles, but he was left alone with 2 bottles of vodka and mixers like orange juice and Red Bull. He also claims he was given a Xanax prior to filming to calm his nerves, stating this was a deliberate move to make for better TV.
I show up to the studios and I'm sober, I'm hurting a lot and I'm shaking. My dad was there and I went and talked to him in his dressing room and I was completely sober. And then they pull me into my dressing room and there was 2 liters of vodka and like some Red Bulls and orange juice and stuff like that. You know, being unsupervised by my parents, I drank the entire bottle. And then at some point somebody gave me a Xanax. They said, this will calm your nerves. And so I had been drinking and took a Xanax, which I've never taken Xanax before in my life. And I know that can be a deadly combination, so why it was given to me, I don't know.
If these allegations are true, Herzog was placed in immediate danger by the producers of the Dr. Phil show. The American Addiction Center states that mixing Xanax and alcohol increases the potential that one will experience hallucinations or delusions, or even seizures, compared to using either drug alone. While there's no way we can know what really went on behind the scenes, these accusations are deeply troubling.
He was trapped.
See, I believe him. I 100% believe him. I believe him because it would be so much different if he came out sober and talked about his problems than when he came out slumped.
And he looked like he didn't want to be on TV.
He was forcibly carried up the stage. If I saw a person who I had to talk about his issues, who used to be on TV, and he became an alcoholic, and he was slumped over like that, why would you bring him on stage? What is he going to say? He was slurring his words. He was on Xanax. He drank an entire bottle of alcohol and had Xanax, and you're going to forcibly pull him up to the stage in front of his family, in front of millions of people. That's so embarrassing. That's so embarrassing. Like, I would hate myself. Like, I would hate him too. Like, I would not be surprised if he hates Dr. Phil, because how conveniently, like, if like his family also says that like he was sober, and then all of a sudden when he's separated from his family who keeps him in check, he's slumped over and he has to be carried onto stage and he's slurring his words. Like, how do you think maybe his family feels when they saw him like that? They were like, what happened to him? And that's why he was crying and he was apologizing, because he probably didn't understand what the was going on. He drank a bunch of alcohol and then they gave him a Xanax.
I don't know if they they just left it on the table and let him take it.
Yeah, like he literally said they led him to his dressing room and he saw a bunch of stuff that can feed his addiction. Why would you put a bunch of stuff that a person was addicted to?
That's like taking an alcoholic to a liquor store.
Or like taking a cocaine addict to like a party with just a bunch of cocaine on the table. Like, what do you think is gonna happen? What do you think is going to happen?
And they did that on purpose for TV.
And that's unethical. That is very unethical. That should not be allowed. He should be persecuted for that. Like, that's really bad. Especially with allegedly, if he really did have Xanax, he could have died on national TV. He could have literally done this entire episode, left with his family, and had a seizure in like the airport and could have died.
That's crazy.
And like his family probably wouldn't have been able to sue Dr. Phil because they signed a contract. They signed a contract.
A liability contract, and I think it's called a those consent. I forgot what it's called. Those forms. If I find it, I'll put it up. One of those forms where it's basically you can't sue or you can't like hold them accountable for anything that happens. It's like I know some studios they do that.
Right.
Sometimes, but that's how they protect their product.
So insane. It's insane to me that and all of this could fly, and that like people just watch this on the daily for entertainment purposes. And then like as we'll see here, this example is even worse, because I have two examples after we see this one that like isn't in this video that grinds my gears. It really grinds it. Just awful.
Open the door or I'm going to throw rocks through your windows, you dumb whore.
In February of this year, previous Dr. Phil guest Caden Mahaffey sued McGraw and CBS for humiliating her on national TV.
She says that Matthew has only been diagnosed with PTSD. She says, I diagnosed Matthew with a new non-specified disorder called Homie in the House of Mirrors Executive Syndrome.
She appeared on the show with her boyfriend to discuss the abuse that he suffered at the hands of his grandmother and mother. But Dr. Phil flipped the script during filming and focused instead on Mahaffey's mental health issues.
I feel like I'm being totally attacked.
You're representing yourself as a credentialed professional. You said, I am credentialed. I'm an ICU nurse that's retired. I'm an author. I've submitted my credentials to the government. They've been accepted. And if you have, then you need to be prepared to defend those.
Matthew was sexually abused for a very long time when he was in school.
Well, by who?
I was sexually abused by a neighbor kid from down the street that visited frequently.
If that's true, I really hate that, and you should really deal with that. You should get some.
Dr. Phil, he has.
You don't know.
True.
You don't know whether it's true or whether
yes,
it's not.
I do.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
No, you don't.
That's sad. I think it's triggering when someone's telling me no, you don't. When I'm telling you yes, I do. No, you don't. Like, how the do you know that?
And even then, if she sounds crazy, because like he was trying to like make it seem like she was not actually a licensed professional. When in turn, how is she licensed but you're not, Dr. Phil? How did she get through all the stuff and get an actual degree and a license to back it up, but you don't, Dr. Phil? You just got a lot of shit to say and nothing to back it up. And even if that diagnosis sounds completely out of whack, It is out of context because the show is heavily edited. We don't know the full extent unless you were in the audience. Unless you were in the audience seeing the behind the scenes.
It's more sad because the guy's name was Matthew.
Oh.
I share your pain with the name part. I don't know.
And it's crazy that, like, you know, like, when the guy Matthew had said that he was, you know, sexually abused, he was raped multiple times by a neighbor kid. The Dr. Phil immediately says, well, if that is true, if that is true, then I do believe that you need a lot of help. And I was just like, how dare you say, if that is true? Are you saying that men can't be raped, Dr. Phil? Are you saying that right now? Really? Well, because he's friends with her and she's crazy in your eyes, so you don't believe him. Is that it? Is that it really? He brings these people who are probably not mentally well, like the girl who thought she was pregnant with Jesus girl, the girl with DID who he was saying very triggering things to try to make her.
Oh, talk about that one real quick. That one. I think that's interesting. I heard about that story.
So I had recently showed Matthew, my cousin, a video of this woman who was brought to Dr. Phil because Dr. Phil wanted to do a segment on people who have multiple personality disorder. You got it wrong immediately from the jump because that is an outdated term for that disorder. It is called DID, dissociative identity disorder. He brought her there, and the reason how people get it is by experiencing extreme traumatic situations mostly in their childhood, so that their personalities are switched to protect herself from certain things. He brought her on that show and was saying so many triggering things that, like, she literally could not communicate. So she was sitting there awkwardly looking at him, looking at the audience, and was curling in deep into herself because she did not want to answer the questions that he was asking.
You're not demonic. What would you say is the single worst trauma in your life?
The worst trauma. Right now, it's not being. I can't talk about that trauma. We aren't gonna talk about.
Who's talking to me?
Fine.
I'm sorry?
What was the question? Sorry.
You know the question.
What question?
You know the question I asked you.
What was the question, though?
I asked you a question.
Yes.
It's like she turned into a little girl. I think I remember when I watched the video.
She turned into a little girl because she had, I believe, 13 personalities. And because I specifically remember the question he answered. He asked her specifically, which one of the traumatic experiences that you went through that led you to this moment? Why would you ask someone who has been unmedicated with DID for years to try to explain
open up about their drama?
Exactly, especially something that made her that made her mind split into 13 different parts. Like, why would you ask that? You can literally go on any other video on the internet about Dr. Phil, and actual psychiatrists and therapists would say that what he was doing was wrong. It was very wrong. Like, this woman has not been to therapy at all. And you're gonna make her tell national TV what happened to her to make her split?
I think the worst thing someone can do with someone that's going through something or has mental health issues is tell them that they don't have an issue, they're just choosing, or is there something else? Even if it's coming from something deep that you don't know them personally like that, I think that's the worst thing you can do. That's trigger it.
It was so weird to just see this woman, like, literally, it looked like she physically and mentally turned into a child when she was asked that question. Like, it was so uncomfortable. I was begging and pleading when I first saw that video to just let her go, Just let her collect herself and
She
bring
couldn't
her
even
back.
talk.
She could
Throughout
not.
Almost her entire interview.
And then it was just like, and the thing is that Dr. Phil doesn't even have the empathy to, you know, like, bring himself back and to collect himself, because he was getting agitated with her because she was not answering his questions fast enough for her. And whenever, you know, like, I heard from a documentary about DID that when different personalities switch, the previous one does not remember, you know, like the host does not remember what the other personality remembers. So every time she was probably switching, and all these different personalities was fronting to like cover for her, and she kept saying, what? Huh? I don't remember. I don't.
Because
and
last
then
person I forgot.
Right. And then like Dr. Phil was like saying, well, you said this, so can you explain this to me? And she was just like, I don't understand. I don't remember. And then like she would just be sitting there like looking off to the side, dumbfounded, and he was getting agitated with her, and I was like, please let this end. Oh my god. Please let this end. She's suffering up there, and she had to go home after that. Like, that sucks.
No, I think also because I think the woman, she also had a daughter.
Exactly.
So, like, how would you explain that to your daughter when she gets what? I think the daughter was young.
She said that the lady said that she was never going to like tell her daughter about her issues. And it was just like, obviously she needs to, because her daughter doesn't know the full extent of to what she's dealing with. But it was sad that the woman who doesn't even know herself what to do, and she went to the person who she thought that could help her the most, and it was him. I'm telling you, that's why I said it's easier to get on his show than to get an actual therapist and psychiatrist from your insurance, because she did not have any help until him, and it was worse. I honestly feel like that experience made things worse for her. I don't know. She's never updated her life since that moment, that day. The episode is pretty old. I just gotta say, it's very triggering. It's very just awkward. It's so weird. Like, I don't know. It shows the example of what not to do with someone with DID. Honest to God.
I just think that with mental health issues in general, maybe.
Yeah, that in general, but it's just like, he just demonizes the people who are deep in their delusion. Very much so. Especially that woman who thought she was in love with Tyler Perry. And Dr. Phil got so mad about that because Tyler Perry is my neighbor. He's not cheating on his wife. You're crazy. Why would you say that to someone who's delusional? She's delusional, sir. Get her help. That's not demonizing her. She obviously doesn't understand.
I mean, I'm in love with Beyonce, but...
Okay, but that's the difference if, like, Jay-Z was
we're
like...
together in my head, you know.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Anyway. And now, finally, we will learn about how he mistreat the children. Because, yes, the parents love to bring these children here on his show to scare them straight. I know Scared Them Straight stopped playing, like an actual show stopped playing now. But they love just embarrassing their children and forcing them to go to the ranch.
I think with parenting, well, I'm not a parent, but I think with parenting, I think it's a lot to, like, do something on social media to your kid if they did something wrong. I think that just handle it. Like, you're trying to do a red table talk with your kids on national TV with something they did. Like, not everything needs to be televised, I think.
Exactly. Not everything that you need to do for your child, whether it's discipline or not, needs to be on the internet for your children. Great example that recently happened on TikTok, that lady that cut all that girl's hair.
I've never seen this. What is this?
So she had box braids like mine or something like that, right? Okay. And the daughter, I guess she wasn't doing something in school that she was supposed to do, and the mom just cut all her hair.
That's abusive.
No physical discipline. Mom, don't mom me. No. You had your warning. You had your chance. I told you to listen. I told you stop disobeying my rules. I told you being cute ain't shit if you have no education. I told you stop disobeying me. I told you to listen and do as you're supposed to. I told you to do good in school. I told you to do your daily routine, and you yet to even do any of it. And you thought you were disobeying me today and I was not coming to cut this hair off. You're sadly mistaken, because you thought being pretty was so much better than being educated or listening to your mom, right? Yes, this is what happens when you don't listen to your mom. No physical discipline. Mom.
That's abusive.
Now guess what happened?
She got arrested, didn't she?
No, her child got taken by CPS.
I can imagine. That's abusive.
And cause and you know what's even more crazy, because that shit really pissed me the she made her daughter go in front of the camera and be like, are you traumatized? And then like her daughter was like, no. And then she was like, did I do the best thing that was for you? And then she was like, yes. And then she was just like, you're still beautiful. I still love you. Do you love me? And then like the daughter was like, yes, I do love you.
She was forced to say that, obviously.
Hi. Do you feel traumatized?
No.
Do you feel like I abused you?
No.
Do you feel like this form of discipline was a lot better than any other form of discipline, like physical abuse that I could have used?
Yes.
You know I love you, right?
Yes.
You know I got your back, right?
Yes.
You know what I'm doing right now is to make you a better person, right?
Yes.
How many times have I spoken to you about this?
A lot of times.
How many times have your teachers called me?
Multiple times.
How many times have you not handed in homework?
A few times.
How many times have you not listened? How many times have I told you when you're grounded not to do certain things and you're still doing them?
A lot of times.
Right. A lot of times, right? And I've been speaking to you about this for how long?
A year.
So today when I did what I did by cutting off your hair, you understand why I did it, right?
Yeah.
And you're learning from it, right?
Yeah.
And what did you learn?
I learned not to disrespect you and to listen to you.
And also?
And to do my homework.
I'm pissed off. I hate you. Like, I hate that woman. I hate her. And I'm glad her child got taken, but I hope her child's fine. Foster
Jesus
care
Christ.
is another thing entirely.
That's terrible.
But this is what happens when you bring children to the internet, to people who like to exploit people like him, like Dr. Phil. Like, why would you ever want to do that to a child who is not fully, like, mentally, like, an adult yet? You only become mentally an adult when you're 25.
Well, really?
Yeah.
So 21's too young?
Well, like, mentally your brain is not developed fully.
Oh, I didn't know that.
After 25, it's just...
Downhill from there?
Yeah.
Downhill from there.
After
Downhill
25,
from there.
after 25,
Downhill
you just die.
I'm joking.
You just die slowly each day after 25.
The teenager was featured on the Dr. Phil show after his parents expressed concern about his video game habits and his violent behavior. While it's obvious this boy needs psychological help, he firmly insisted he didn't feel comfortable receiving it on TV. I believe he's old enough to make that decision, considering it could affect his life and future employment opportunities.
You enjoy your time in LA?
So you'll most likely not be willing to go.
Correct.
And that means if I try to get you to go in the car, what happens?
Well, remember when Dad tried to get me in the car? He couldn't even get me in the car. I doubt you can as well. Personally, I think I can solve the problem myself. I don't think I'd be on the Dr. Phil show, and I feel that this is a waste of my time. So I'm not going.
But Dr. Phil didn't take no for an answer.
And when that happens and parents agree, then we involve what's called a transporter.
We've just arrived at the family home. We're going to go inside and meet our young man.
This is Laura.
We're your handlers. Dr. Phil has cordially requested your presence in Hollywood. He would really like to meet you. Our job is to just kind of get to the flight, make sure we catch everything on time, make sure all your needs are met. What questions do you have?
I'm good.
Can I shake your hand?
Sure.
My name is Mike again.
He appears extremely uncomfortable, and rightfully so.
Look at how he looks. Look at how he looks. Look at all these adults and the cameraman in front of this young man's face. And he's huddled in the corner without his consent. And he's like, oh, Dr. Phil cordially invites you to Hollywood. Like this is some Willy Wonka type shit.
This is kidnapping.
Very much kidnapping.
Technically speaking, this is kidnapping.
He is old enough to not want to be anywhere. Sure, he is a child. He is not 18. But he is still a child. And if he don't want to do this shit, why are you forcing to do him that? Why are you forcing him to go onto the show? Why can't you force him to actually go to an actual therapist that'll help him? He's not a licensed therapist. And I blame the parents because they obviously did not do their research. They did not know either that he was not a licensed
They probably
therapist.
just heard, oh, they have an opportunity to go on TV. Oh, this is taken. If they did, I do believe Dr. Phil probably does pay the parents. That is also a thing I do think.
If that shit is like money, because how could you do that? I feel like if I was that kid and I had anger issues, well, I already do have anger issues, sorry, but I'm just saying, If I was him, I would kill y'all in y'all sleep. Because why would y'all do that?
That's terrible.
Why would you publicly embarrass me like this? For nothing. What did that child learn?
Anything, it's not even like, it's over video games. Like, he doesn't seem violent. I don't know the entire story, necessarily speaking, but
like, is there obviously a triggering thing that's making him violent? Did something in his past lead to this violence? Is it his parents that actually need to get divorced and they're staying together?
Instead of therapy, he probably needs psychotherapy. Just like to see deeper.
Whatever it is he needs, he don't need a personality from TV to solve his issues, because they don't have the knowledge to do so. And to force him to leave his home where he's comfortable in and put him in front of all these old middle-aged women and men and like all these grandma and grandpas who watch from their homes to watch him spiral because of his anger issues. Like, that's not... And I love that they added the fact that, oh, it's because he plays violent video games, perpetuating the whole thing about video games make kids violent. No. Kids are violent because of what y'all do to him, aka the parents. So...
I mean, I play Doom, I play GTA. I mean, I never want to kill
And do you, like, up?
Yeah, it's good. It's for fun. I know.
No, I'm saying in real life.
In real life?
Because of it.
No, I can't see myself slapping someone because GTA told me to do it. You feel me? Like,
they was really going hard about GTA as well. They were saying like, oh, GTA, you just run up to a car and just throw someone out of their car and drive down the speedway. It's just like,
well, I look at video games as an escape route from like what your actual life is. You do stuff you actually can't really do in life.
And that's probably what this kid is doing. He's probably playing all these violent games to get an outlet for his anger. Because he has a coping mechanism. Sure, it might not be the healthiest because he plays the games a lot. But that means that he has a lot of anger to let out. And his parents are not helping him. And it's only going to make his anger worse if you take this kid to a place he does not want to go to and waste his time, as he said. Like, look at him. He looks so frightened. He looks like he does not know what's going on. And then, like, he feels like he probably had to go and say whatever it is that they wanted him to say. Sound like a suck up to just, like, not deal with, like, all the burden. Because, you know, annoying.
I was very nervous this morning when the transport team came because I've always had my doubts about going. There was thought in my head that I didn't want to go, and I've seen the Dr. Phil show before, and I've seen that people do have to come to their house and take them, so I was just going to go with the flow and accept what I needed to do. Missing out on this opportunity is going to be a big mistake, and I think Dr. Phil is going to be able to help me out with my problems right now, and I'm very excited.
While it's entirely possible the teen had a sudden change of heart, his words came across as forced, almost as if they're being scripted by the producers.
You saw that? You saw his lip trembling there? He does not want to be there. He is upset. He is being crucified by all these middle-aged people in the audience, and his parents were dumb enough to bring him onto that show against his will.
Sad.
He is being brought against a big figure who is on TV.
That looks scripted.
Very much so. He literally said, I just went with the flow to do what I have to do because he didn't want to fight against them, because who knows what they would have done. He didn't know, obviously. That's why he went with them. And you think that when he suddenly changed his mind from saying that all this was a waste of time to maybe Dr. Phil will help me was not scripted? That shit is hella scripted. I just feel like his TV show needs to be taken away.
How long has he been on TV now?
I don't know, maybe like over 40 years.
40? I don't think 40 years.
That nigga's old.
I don't know.
Maybe 20, I'll give him that.
20.
I don't know.
But hey, this is where we're going to end the video. I want to thank you guys for joining us again. You can always follow us on Instagram at Matt95Q. And this one here, go ahead and share your Instagram.
Demon.bun with 2 N's.
Demon.bun. Hope to come out with some new videos in the future. But till then, see you guys next time.